Greetings, nerdlings, and welcome to Nerd Party, the show where we take time to celebrate all that is gloriously nerdy.
I'm Johnny Vu.
And I'm Christopher George. And a few days ago, I saw a headline. I don't know if it was on Twitter or if I was just searching something random, but it said
It's probably porn, but okay, go on.
it probably was. It said Wolverine. 3 months to die. And my initial reaction was, yes! I'm going to get so much hate for this because I thought that they were going to kill off Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and they were going to reboot or recast the character. Not that I have anything against Hugh Jackman. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I'm such a huge fan of him. I loved him in Australia. I loved him in Les Mis. I loved him in what was that one with Jake Gyllenhaal? Recent. But anyways,
Prisoner? No, not Prisoners.
Yeah, Prisoners.
Prisoners?
Yeah,
Prisoners. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of his work. I just don't like his Wolverine. Like minus the two Bryan Singer films, I thought his performance as Logan was a little lackluster. Like for me, this is just my opinion. I'm not anyone of importance unless you think so, which would be nice. So just my opinion. I think his portrayal of Wolverine is too sappy. He doesn't have the core characteristics of what makes Wolverine Wolverine. Wolverine to me is an animal. He's savage. He's the greatest tracker in the Marvel universe. Like he's vicious and brutal. He's a tough guy. He has like a Napoleon complex and they can't really portray that with Hugh because he's like 6'2". But yeah, like I personally don't like Hugh Jackman as
I'm
Wolverine.
kind of quiet here because I freaking adore Jackman as Wolverine. Check out this freaking awesome shirt. Like I freaking love Wolverine, and I think it's like Robert Downey Jr. does a great job. I think you can't see him as Iron Man, and then like Jonah J. Jameson, and then like maybe Wolverine's third or fourth for me. I mean, as Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which I think he kills it every time, and
that's just the general consensus of how people adore Hugh as Wolverine.
Yeah, and I think
I don't blame them. He's a great actor. It's just I think the character direction of how they wanted to portray him on screen was missing for me. Like they captured a little bit of it in X2 during the scene where the mansion gets invaded and Wolverine just goes berserk, and I love that scene. Or even in X-Men 3, like as bad as a movie as that was, my favorite part of that movie was the forest scene where Wolverine kind of sneaks around and just like tears shit up. Like they've been able to capture small snippets of what I think Wolverine should be like. But overall, like man, like they just stop crying and bitching already about Jean Grey. Like, oh my goodness, like
I don't know. I think that they just like I think maybe in his prior years when he was in the war, like if you even saw in Origins, was even as bad as that movie was, him and his brother tore shit up, and then he kind of pretty much watches Sabretooth do all these terrible things, and he kind of grows like he feels bad and stuff, and you see that in Origins, and you see that how he just wants to live a normal life. He doesn't want to be this fucking savage animal, but then he has to be. Chris might be biting in his words when Days of Future Past comes out, and you see some crazy ass Wolverine.
I'm still open. That's not to say I want him to do a bad job. Like I want him to make this character amazing for me. I want it to be entertaining for me, but from what I've seen so far, I haven't been impressed, and he's done 10 years of work as Wolverine. It's time for someone new. Time to be refreshing. Get out of the character. I'm sorry, Hugh. I love you, but gotta go. But anyways, the point of that was to kind of introduce this new direction that they're going with Wolverine. The author, oh shit, I forget his name. Let me look it up here. His name is Paul Cornell.
Okay.
Paul Cornell. He's been kind of taking Wolverine into a new direction with a new story arc.
His new suit too.
I honestly haven't read Wolverine since Old Man Logan. But right now, from my understanding, Wolverine has kind of switched sides and they took away his healing factor. So with this new headline, 3 months to die, they're kind of alluding to the fact that they're playing around with Wolverine's mortality, and it could be a possibility that they kill Wolverine off. What do you think about that?
I think this is just Marvel's way of trying to get more comic book kill off a beloved character that people have known for years, and they think that they're gonna get people to read it again.
It got my attention.
It's same thing that happened to the death of Peter Parker. They killed Peter Parker off, but they still had Doc Ock take over his body or some consciousness, whatever. And then here comes the Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe a year ago, but I have a ton of the Superior Spider-Man. I think the whole death thing, they handled it kind of poorly. But Superior Spider-Man's pretty cool. He kills people. He's Doc Ock. He's badass. Yeah. And there's action figures already and stuff. So I think maybe they're trying to do something. If they do some stupid thing like Daken takes over Wolverine's body or something, I'm just gonna roll my eyes and continue with my day.
It's a double-edged sword. What's good about comics is that they're not afraid to kill off their characters. If I'm not mistaken, they've killed off Wolverine before.
Not too
I could be wrong. There's such a huge, vast database of comics. Maybe you guys could let us know in the comment section down there if they've killed off Wolverine before. But on the same token, you feel like it's kind of a ploy, a gimmick used to bring readership back to the character, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of cheapens the character if you kill them off and then
bring them back.
That's why, as much as I like Ra's al Ghul, he has the Lazarus pit, and it's
but that's okay because that's his gimmick. That's his thing. You killed him? Nah, he's not dead. He'll come back.
Yeah.
But I feel like that they're just gonna bring him back. His corpse is gonna be he's gonna be in bones, and then all of a sudden
he's regenerated.
There's one cell, and then it just regenerates, and Wolverine's actually not dead or something.
I think he only needs one cell to be able to regenerate.
Yeah. Or maybe they even freaking kill him off, and then he goes missing for however long in the comic books, and then you see this weird shadow dude, and he plays a different character, but he's not Wolverine.
They do I
don't think
a Winter Soldier type of thing.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna kill off Wolverine. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do it. And I mean, they're never gonna. He's coming back. And same with the comic books. I mean, in the comic book movies, he's not going anywhere. He's the headline. He's the Cyclops of the Marvel universe. In the X-Men universe anyways. Yeah.
And so, speaking of deaths in the comic book universe, we also wanted to talk about a documentary that comic book or artist and director Jon Schnepp, who is also a host on AMC Movie News, which you guys should subscribe and watch, because this show derives a lot of inspiration from that show. They do a lot of things great. We're huge fans of them.
Yep.
So you should support them as well. AMC Movie News. But anyways, Jon Schnepp, he's also the creator and director of Metalocalypse. I think that's how you say it. Which is a pretty funny show. I've seen a couple episodes. And I was a huge fan of his work on the Black Panther series that aired on BET. In 2011. I thought that was a really interesting take on the Black Panther character. but yeah, John Schnepp, he's currently in some post-production dilemma where he has the film done, but he wants to like kind of add some bonus footage about the documentary. So you guys can actually help support the making of that film. There's a website. You could probably find it on his Twitter at John Schnepp. But basically, you can make a donation to the film, and you'll be credited at the end during the end credits as a contributor to that film. And why I think it's an interesting documentary is because not only is the Death of Superman narrative a great story from the Superman universe. If you haven't read it, please read it. If you're a Superman fan, please read it. It's so good. Essentially, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm gonna have to. The main premise of it is Superman dies, Doomsday, he gets killed by Doomsday, and then new Superman kind of try to take the mantle of who Superman was. You got Superboy, you got
Eradicator,
Steel, you got the cyborg one that Lex created.
Mm-hmm. Cyborg.
This is just a whole new dynamic on Earth because Earth's savior is gone. And they were actually going to make a movie on it starring Nicolas Cage as Superman. He would have had long hair. I thought it would have been awesome. It would be, at the very least, it would have been hilarious to see. Because this Nick Cage has put out some decent movies like over the years. Like if you've seen what should I call it? That plane Con Air.
Con Air's great. Face Off is great.
Face Off. He was phenomenal. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Personality aside.
Yeah.
So he was gonna play Superman, but apparently there were just so many issues going on during the time of this movie, like issues with the script. Kevin Smith was actually a writer for this film,
and Nick Cage is a huge comic book fan too,
as well. So he would have put his heart and soul into it. But anyways, Kevin Smith was a writer for the script of this film, and they were apparently butting heads because they wanted to portray Superman as having a lot of angst and like in terms of like questioning who he is as an individual, like and that's not what Superman is. Superman is about hope, right? And like if anything, if there's any angst about the Superman character, it's the fact that he probably thinks that he can't do enough to save humanity. But anyways, yeah, and then also what was working against them is that Batman and Robin came out the year before the Death of Superman was supposed to come out. And we all know how that went.
Bat nipples.
Right? You got bat nipples, you got bat skates.
Credit cards, yeah.
It was an awful mess of a film.
Yeah.
But but you know what? It's actually one of my favorite Batman interpretations because I thought it was so hilarious.
Like I watched it a shitload with my brother when I was a kid. Like we watched it a lot. Like as a kid, like we liked it. But until we started figuring out like who Batman really was, we're like, this is terrible.
I don't think it was bad for kids because I think the target audience was
kids.
For
I
kids.
think they made toys before the
because during the 90s we had the Batman animated series, which was really prominent and popular amongst us. So they tried to appeal to a younger audience. Kids, but again, Batman the animated series had a darker tone to it. It had like adult issues that were in there. But again, I think as we grew up, we began to realize how much of a shitstorm that movie actually was, because especially since the Nolan films came out, it just gave us a proper reimagining of the character. I'm also not a fan of, as much as I cherish the Nolan films, I'm not a fan of that interpretation of Batman.
Batman.
I love the movies. Don't get me wrong. I love the movies. I love Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I love his Batman, but I probably wouldn't have went that direction because
If Superman were to fly into that universe like Henry Cavill, you could just like flick him.
it's not only
he
that.
would
It's
just
like
die.
Nolan portrayed Batman as just like a brutish character. They forgot that Batman was the greatest detective.
Yeah.
He's Sherlock Holmes
Mm-hmm.
and like Chuck Norris put together. They forgot that that there is that side to him. There's the whole detective side.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't just go out there beating up people for no reason. Like,
yeah,
that's how it came off to me anyway. Like, that he was just a brute force. Like, he was an enforcer as opposed to like an upholder of justice. Because Batman is always 5 steps ahead of everyone, like almost everyone he encounters. And if it was the Batman that I grew up with, he would have been able to figure out who Talia al Ghul really was, right? Before they got the jump on him.
Yeah.
But I guess for story purposes, it worked. It worked. But anyways, do you have any thoughts on like?
No, I think
Superman,
I think it'd be really an interesting documentary because how many times have you heard, oh, there's a green light for Deadpool, there's a green light for this movie, this comic book movie, and then what happens? It just never really pans out. And I think it'd be interesting to see the steps of how Hollywood takes it, because as much as we are fans and they want us to, you know, enjoy it and whatnot, they have to make money from it.
Yeah.
They're not going to go make a Fantastic Four 3 or a Spider-Man 4 if the last one bombed, you know. And I think it'd be really interesting on how, you know, how it all came to be and how it crumbled. Because I saw some concept art from Nicolas Cage's Superman. It was like a black suit, long hair. Yeah. It was kind of more of like can't remember, but I have an action figure of Superman with long hair, black suit. There's also that blue and red one Superman where he's all like electrified and stuff. I think it'd be a nice take on to see how like a movie like that, especially such a big iconic character like Superman, and how it came up to the ranks of being made, and then just
there've been so many iterations of Superman as it is. Like he's like James Bond. Like anyone can play James Bond just as anyone can play. Almost anyone can play Superman. Yeah,
I think they'd be mad if I played a Asian Superman. I don't think that would happen, but it's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can help John support that, I know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure I will. As soon as I get some money in the bank, I'm gonna. So you're gonna see Christopher George.
Probably see Johnny Vu in there too. Guy's trying hard too, man. He's like selling his comic books and stuff.
Yeah, he has just probably just as much as Johnny has, or even more.
We'll do a tour of my room, like my place one day. Yeah, it'll be nice.
And he was selling them at the back of a comic book store,
man. That's dedication. That's selling comics to make a comic book documentary. That's like it's pretty cool.
He's an ambassador of the nerd.
Yeah, he's
of nerd culture.
I like his presence on AMC Movie Talk. But...
So support him, please.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's it for us today on Nerd Party Talk. You can follow us here on Twitter if you want to join in on the conversation. Please do. We'd really like to hear from you guys, your thoughts on stuff that you're reading, movies that you've seen, video games that you're playing. Yeah, exactly.
Comic books that you're reading. Yeah, just let us know what to talk about, and we'll try to entertain you.
Yeah, you can find, if you want to talk to us individually, you can find me on Twitter at _ Christopher George, and Instagram at Christopher George XO.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well. Creep my stuff. It's okay. It's all good.
All right, nerds. That's it for us today. As always, be your cool self. Don't let anyone tell you different. And remember to celebrate your nerdiness. Peace.
I was going to say something about nerdgasm. What the fuck is Sandy doing?